let's just consider this Joby Sanchez's official UFC debut, shall we? Yes, I know he fought back in August, took it on short notice, lost a very close one, but both Sanchez and his team believe we'll see his true potential tomorrow night after a full training camp.
The notorious Conor McGregor is being called the Irish Muhammad Ali. He enters the octagon against the dangerous Dennis Siver tomorrow after the AFC Championship game, only on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go.
And Joby Sanchez. Next up in the light heavyweight division, Matt Gunner Van Buren and Shawn, the real OC O'Connell.
Tonight, Monster Energy Supercross heads to Anaheim as the best riders in the world push the limit to be the one that takes the checkered flag. Coverage begins at 10 p.m. Eastern only on Fox Sports 1. Of course, it streams live on Fox Sports Go.
Van Buren, tough 19 finalist, was on my team, Team Edgar. This guy was great to have on the show. Was very fun. He kept the mood light. He's a very confident guy. He trains with Team Alliance. I'm super excited to see the progress he's made since the show. You can catch these next 6 bouts coming up tomorrow here on Fox Sports 1 as part of our prelim portion of the evening. It starts with a strong featherweight tilt here between Shawn Soriano and Charles Rosa. Soriano to tip the scale first.
First to the scale, Shawn Soriano.
Shawn Soriano is a young 25-year-old up-and-coming fighter. Trains with the Black Zillions, a very talented striker. Trains alongside Henry Hoof, who's one of the best striking coaches in the game. Don't blink, this kid can sling him.
That's good, 146.
146 for Shawn Soriano. And fighting out of Peabody, Massachusetts, Charles Rosa.
We use the term nothing comes easy too freely, but in Charles Rosa's case, this is the absolute truth. He took a fight with Dennis Siver on 5 days' notice, lost 30 pounds, and fought him tough. But that's not even the biggest battle of this young man's career. He overcame a drug addiction to become a chef, and now he fights in the UFC. It is safe to say no fight is too tough for Charles Rosa.
$145.
$145 for Boston Strong. Shawn Soriano. Next up in the lightweight division, Johnny Hollywood Case against Frankie Perez. Frankie Perez.
One of the Big East's most historic rivalries will resume on Monday night as fifth-ranked Villanova takes on Georgetown in what is a pivotal conference battle. Coverage begins at 9 p.m. Eastern on the home of Big East basketball, Fox Sports 1, and it streams live on Fox Sports Go.
Longtime training partner and roommate of Jeremy Stevens, Hollywood Case had his UFC debut delayed last year after a pre-fight medical exam showed that he had a torn retina. He was ready to fight with it, but he had surgery anyway, made his debut in September, and extended his winning streak to 9.
Good, 156.
156 for Johnny Case. A lightweight collision, Johnny Case and Frankie Perez. Next up, in the flyweight division, fighting out of Dublin, Ireland, Paddy the Hooligan Hoolihan against Shane Howell.
Shane Howell, 31 years old, fighting out of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Trains under Mac Rice, and if there's a better guy to draw inspiration from, it's Mac Rice. He suffered a brain injury, and I want to see the motivation that he has training under Mac.
Dare I say, you will never meet a bigger tea enthusiast in your life than that man, Paddy Hoolihan. He came to Boston from Ireland with 80 bags of Irish tea in his possession. And as of Thursday, he ran out. But don't worry, his mates have brought him a whole new stash, and he's ready to go for Sunday night.
Next up in 155, Zhang, the Warrior Li Peng against Chris Wade. First fighter to the scale, Chris Wade.
Just like in the movie Big Daddy, Chris Wade has his own 5-year plan. He says if he's not UFC champion within that stretch of time, he has no interest in lingering around the division, taking random fights. And if you look at how his UFC debut went back in August, I'd say he's well on his way.
156.
156 for Chris Wade. And his opponent, the Warrior, Zhang Li Peng.
Zhang Li Peng's story. Starts fighting on the tear. Almost gets ousted out of Chinese MMA. Fires his coach. Goes on the Ultimate Fighter. His coach is coaching the show. He stays the course. Wins the Ultimate Fighter UFC debut. And now he fights in Boston.
Next up in the welterweight division, born and raised and fighting out of Boston, Massachusetts, John Doomsday Howard and Lorenz, the Monsoon Larkin.
Portland 2012, Lorenz told me while sitting in the sauna, making 185 was the hardest thing he's ever done. Now he makes 170 for the first time because he owns a win over the current champion. This is his normal weight, and he gains confidence in the success he had against Robbie Lawler.
Stand still, baby. 171.
171 for the Monsoon. And his opponent, born and raised and fighting out of Boston, Massachusetts, John Doomsday Howard!
John Doomsday Howard will be fighting in front of his hometown of Boston this Sunday. If you watched him vetted, he said he does not fear the striking of Lorenz Larkin. It's going to be heart versus creativity. This fight has fireworks written all over it. This is my prelim to watch.
Go, buddy. 170.
170 for John Howard. This is a great welterweight matchup. John Howard and Lorenz Larkin. Also in the welterweight division, born in Boston, fighting out of Dublin, Ireland, Perez against Shawn Spitzer. Shawn Spitzer, first to the scale.
Shawn Spitzer came into the UFC, and he's racked up some really impressive wins. But what's even more impressive is that in his off time, he's a highly sought-after motivational speaker. So from kids to adults, he spreads his message on setting goals and overcoming adversity.
$171.
171 for Shawn Spitzer. And his opponent,
Paul Pendrew was born right here in Boston, but when he was 4 years old, his Irish immigrant parents decided they wanted to move back to Ireland. He has not been back since. 17 months ago, he campaigned to fight right here in Beantown, but he couldn't get on the card. Now here he is, about to live out his dream.
Stand still. 171.
171 for Pendrick.
Well, welcome back to LA. How good does DC look today, by the way? So just 8 more fighters now to go to make it official, and charged with kicking off the main card, lightweights Gleison Tebow and Norman Park. Storm and Norman to the scale first.
Tebow!
Gleison Tebow is a very big 55-pounder, cuts a ton of weight. This guy's a veteran, has 23 fights given in UFC, making him the most at lightweight. He also has 80 takedowns in the lightweight division, I think giving him second most in the whole UFC.
80 takedowns in the UFC.
And he's tenacious. I mean, he gets after those takedowns.
Also has to be the biggest 155-pounder out there.
When he steps into the octagon after getting on the scale, he fills out completely. Looks big.
He puts it back on.
Yeah.
Oops, sorry. 156.
156 for Gleison Tebow. And his opponent, fighting out of Bushmills, Northern Ireland, Stormin Norman Park.
Stormin Norman Park won the Tough Smashes lightweight division, which was England versus Australia. He was training with the Lions, but moved his camp back to his hometown of Bushmills, Northern Ireland, where he can train with his boxing coach and, most importantly, sleep in his own bed.
You know, the funny thing about Norman Park is after working with Dominic Cruz, he was actually sleeping on Dom's couch for as many fights as he trained at Alliance MMA. So it probably is really good for him to be back home. Bet he misses those training partners, though.
Yeah.
5'6".
156 for Stormin Norman Park.
Just a hard division in which to make a run. You know, both of these guys on the fringe of that top 15. Of course, Norman Park here was to face Jorge Masvidal, who was forced out due to injury.
You know, I've seen on Twitter where Park called out Khabib after this fight, said he wants to fight Khabib. So
you better worry about Gleison Tebow. This is not an easy night's work when you step in the cage with that man.
Next up, in the middleweight division, Uriah, Prime Time Hall, and Ron, Fireboy Stallings.
5 days ago, the choir boy Ron Stallings was just on the outside looking in. Then he got a call to fight Uriah Hall on short notice, and of course he took that opportunity. So here he is, about to make his UFC debut. By the way, he's called the choir boy because he plays the keyboard at his church.
This is a huge opportunity for Stallings. I mean, coming in on short notice, fighting a guy like Hall who has a lot of hype around him, he can make a name for himself really quick.
185 for Choir Boy. And his opponent, Uriah Primetime Hall.
I'm not sure there has ever been a run on the Ultimate Fighter that was more impressive than Uriah Hall. He decisioned in his first fight, but then knockout, knockout, knockout. When you start demolishing guys like this, people start to expect things. Uriah Hall did not live up to the expectations initially, but he's righted the ship. He's won his last 2 fights, finished Chris Lieben, beat Thiago Santos, and he's gonna look to have an impressive finish tomorrow night.
186.
186 for Uriah Hall.
A lot of times when you have this much hype like Uriah Hall had, people were saying he's ready to fight Anderson Silva and everything. It's hard to live up to that. This guy has done a great job of doing that. We'll see if he continue against Stallings.
Today, by the way, the 10-year anniversary of Episode 1, Season 1 of The Ultimate Fight.
Jeez. Thank you for making me feel even older.
Uriah Hall and Ron Stallings. Next up, UFC lightweight champion of the world, Smooth Benson Henderson.
Benson Henderson, I'm quite familiar with this guy. He's a former lightweight former lightweight champ and former WC lightweight champ. He's a big 55er. You know, being in there with him, he definitely pushes the pace. He always comes in great shape. He's got enormous legs. You know, we'll take a look at him here. I would know he'd up-kick me in the face with one of them. This guy, he always comes ready to go.
You know, Benson Henderson is a former champion, and he's walking to the scale first. That is something we don't see normally, but that goes to show you the regard that they hold Donald Cerrone in right now.
And especially Cerrone's current form, obviously, having won his last 6.
Yep, 156.
156 for Benson Henderson.
And I'm not sure if Benson's an underdog, but with 2-0 record against Cerrone, as a former champion, he had to go out of the blue corner.
Donald Cowboy Cerrone.
Donald Cowboy Cerrone. He's going for his 7th win in 14 months. I mean, that's 3 years of work all in 1 year. I mean, he's friends with Benson Henderson. This should be an interesting fight. Wondering how healthy he is from his fight 14 days ago. But I think if there's anyone who can pull it off, it's probably Cowboy Cerrone.
Five.
155 for Cowboy.
Ariel said earlier that Cerrone said that he would falter when he got to the highest levels. He didn't beat Dos Anjos. He's back at the highest level. He lost to Perez. He's back at the highest level right now against Henderson, and we'll see how much improvement he really has made. This is Cowboy's test. What do you do in this situation right here?
They are set to meet for the 3rd time. Donald Cerrone and Benson Henderson. And now, let's take a closer look at the 2 men who will be involved in tomorrow night's main event of the evening.
When Conor McGregor fights, there's this inescapable feeling that you're witnessing something that comes along once in a lifetime. The UFC's version of a Sugar Ray Leonard or a Muhammad Ali, just someone undeniably special.
I am the guy who will obliterate the whole division. The dream is to win the gold.
He's coming off of an incredible first-round KO of a top 10 featherweight in Dustin Poirier, and he made it look easy. The people want to see Conor McGregor fight, and they want to see him fight for the title. He has an opportunity in fighting Dennis Siver to cement that into people's head, to make this case for him fighting for the title.
Conor McGregor zum Schweigen zu bringen in einem Kampf im Oktagon wird für mich das größte Ereignis des Jahres sein.
Dennis Siver is a dangerous guy. He has big power punches. He has good submissions. His spinning back kick is amongst the best in the UFC. He can knock out any man in the world he catches with that.
Wenn einer meiner Schläge oder Kicks ihn trifft, dann wird er auf jeden Fall K.O. gehen.
Dennis is another blank face. I truly feel unstoppable right now. I believe he's in way over his head.
Ja, er macht einen großen Fehler, weil er mich nicht ernst nimmt.
Literally, he will be like a deer in the headlights, so timid and so afraid.
Conor McGregor wird die schlimmste Nacht seines Lebens erleben.
It will be another first-round KO to add to my list of ever-growing first-round KOs.
Ich werde alles dafür tun.
I believe I am number 1.
We're not here just to take part. We're here to take over. First to the scale, Dennis Siver.
Dennis Siver, UFC veteran, 18 fights in the UFC, most of them at the lightweight division. Now he's at featherweight, has had 5 fights there, and has only lost once to the the 4th ranked fighter, Cub Swanson. He's so talented and definitely the biggest challenge for Conor McGregor.
Well, Dennis Siver isn't going to be intimidated in this situation. He's done this before. He stepped up in this situation and went in Australia and beat George Sotiropoulos,
who was also promised a title shot after that fight.
Exactly. Right. This is not new to Dennis Siver.
For Dennis Siver.
He's fed up.
And his opponent, born, raised, and fighting out of Dublin, Ireland, the notorious Conor McGregor.
This guy is a bona fide star. You can call him cocky, you can call him arrogant, but at the end of the day, you call Conor McGregor a fighter. Everything that he said, he's backed up. Everything that he's promised, he's done. He says that he's going to knock Dennis Siver out within 2 minutes of the very first round. If Conor does this, Conor stands across the cage against the best fighter in the 145-pound division, and if these guys get together, it may be the biggest fight that this weight class has ever seen.
45.
145 for Conor McGregor.
Frankie, I'm not saying that your fight with the champ wasn't huge, but this guy has made this division a high priority for a lot of people to watch.
Our main event of the evening, Conor McGregor and Dennis Siver. First we'll visit with Dennis Siver. Dennis, you have been in this situation before, relishing the role of spoiler, and I know you're confident that you can spoil a big night for the Irish fans again tomorrow.
Das ist nicht das erste Mal für mich, dass ich woanders kämpfe. Und es ist mir egal, ich werde morgen rausgehen und mein Bestes geben. Und ihr werdet sehen, ich werde den Kampf morgen gewinnen.
It's not the first time that he's fighting elsewhere. Tomorrow he will go out there and you will see. We will fight. We will win the fight.
Thank you very much. Dennis Siver, ladies and gentlemen. Next up, I visit with the notorious Conor McGregor. I mean, look at these fans, Conor. The buzz that you have created around the world means that you have to keep winning, but you're confident you will do that.
Of course, tomorrow night, the Irish invasion continues.
The notorious Conor McGregor!
That's 145, that's championship weight. Tell Jose I'm coming.
Can't wait till tomorrow night, UFC fans. Thank you!